Man, I gotta give up playing. I gotta give up playing World War II, Call of Duty. I can't do it no more, man. I really can't. I'm losing my voice, actually. The game is making me hoarse, and I'm not yelling for no reason. When you play the game, your anger levels rise to fucking volcanic levels, man. It's awful. It is absolutely fucking terrible, and I can't stand it. It is the worst boots on the ground Call of Duty I have ever seen in my entire life. It's the slowest playing Call of Duty I have ever played. People thought Ghosts was bad. This is unreal. This puts Ghosts to shame. I'd rather play Ghosts 24/7 than World War II. That's how bad this game is. So I'm losing my voice in the process. I think I might have to give it up for a week just to get my voice back to normal, because then I can't do my regularly scheduled activities here, like Off the Script and all my other reviews on the channel. But my voice is not really good right now. We're going to try and get through this podcast the best that we can. This is, of course, Off the Script, episode 197, part number 2 for your Saturday, November 25th, 2017. If you guys missed yesterday's video, they got demonetized for whatever reason, because YouTube apparently doesn't like Finn Balor either. Yesterday we talked about Vince McMahon considering Finn Balor bland, his Royal Rumble plans canceled, the match with Brock Lesnar off, Vince deems Finn Balor not over with the WWE Universe. We talk about all that, plus we do 2 major unboxings. Pro Wrestling Crate, That Wrestling Club. You guys can vote on which one was the MVP for the month of November, so make sure you guys go and do that. So much in that video, man. Almost 2 hours of audio podcast for you guys. Make sure you guys go and check it out, because when YouTube demonetizes the video, the search for the video is decreased heavily. So it's not really pushed because there's no ads on it. YouTube deems it unworthy, and it gets lost in the YouTube universe here on the internet. So make sure you guys go and check it out. Link will be within the video right in the top right corner of the screen, so make sure you all go check that out. Thumbs it up, leave a comment, support where you can, where YouTube continues to fail. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Make sure you guys do that. It is the #1 way to keep up to date on everything with this channel. It is the best way to keep up to date when I am live tweeting. You guys get to know what I'm thinking in real time. You guys can tweet along with me during Raw and Smackdown if it's worth tweeting along to. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. We are just about at 85,000 subscribers, so make sure you guys do that as well. The Pro Wrestling Tees Barbershop Window sale is still on, so you guys can get 30% off. I stress, 30% off everything you buy on my shop via barbershopwindow.com. All you got to do is go to barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. You pick out whatever you want. There's these beautiful designs there. We got the Jinder Get Off My TV design. We got the first ever benched t-shirt for Off the Script. Eat, sleep, bench, repeat. And then you guys got these 10 other designs plus those 2. Whatever you want, man. You want 1, 2, or all 12. You guys can get 30% off your entire order. You pick whatever shirt you want. You check out. Coupon code Black Friday. You're going to save 30% off your entire order, man. So make sure you guys go and do that. It is the #1 way this week to do that and support the show. You're not going to find this sale ever again this year. It's over. After Monday, it ends on November 27th, 2017 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Time. So you guys got till Monday to do this. I stress, you will not find a sale like this again all year. This is the biggest sale of the year for Barbershop Window and Pro Wrestling Tees. Do it. Code Black Friday. Great way to support the show. If you guys don't want to do that, you guys can pledge via the Patreon page, patreon.com/JD-from-NY206. Another great way to support the channel and support what I do here. Or you guys can visit Audible. If you guys are a new listener of the podcast and you guys want something for free just for listening to the show, Audible is going to give you guys 1 month free of their service plus 1 free audio book. You have over 180,000 books to choose from. Justin Roberts got his new book out. You guys can pre-order Mick Foley's new book coming out next month. You guys can get Jim Ross's new autobiography. You guys can get Daniel Bryan, AJ Lee, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Hulk Hogan, Brock Lesnar, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Roddy Piper, the death of WCW, Bob Holly. It is all there for you guys. So if you guys have any interest in any of those wrestling books, you guys can get one of those for free. Just visiting our link, audibletrial.com/offthescript. That is only for new listeners of the show. I would really want to get those numbers up before the end of the year. We got a month and a half left to do that. So thank you guys so much for supporting any way that you can on the podcast. What we got today, man, we got news on Money in the Bank being one of the big 5 pay-per-views of 2018, meaning that there will be an NXT takeover to accompany Money in the Bank weekend. And I do believe that Money in the Bank is in Chicago. I can't fucking wait for that, man. So now we have an official big 5 of the calendar year. Rumble, Mania, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, all co-branded, dual-branded pay-per-views for Raw and SmackDown. On Wednesday, PW Insider indicated that rumors suggest that the Money in the Bank 2018 event could be a pay-per-view for both the Raw and the SmackDown Live brands. The professional wrestling news site reported on the schedule of pay-per-views of 2018 and noted that the Money in the Bank pay-per-view is the 5th co-branded pay-per-view on the schedule. For 2017, the Money in the Bank pay-per-view was exclusively a SmackDown event. As you guys know, Baron Corbin won Money in the Bank this year, only to lose it to 10 seconds to Jinder Mahal. As reported, WWE is cutting down the pay-per-view count for 2018, and they are limiting themselves to 14 pay-per-views. This year, WWE featured 2 pay-per-views nearly every month, with the exception of the Big 4, which garnered a lot of criticism from both media and fans, simply because those people and the fans in general thought that it was overwhelming. Too much content delivered by WWE, especially when there's 2 pay-per-views a month and then they go right into a dual-branded pay-per-view. It doesn't leave much room for pay-per-views to breathe. It doesn't leave much room for storylines to breathe, and everything just feels rushed. Sometimes you had one brand building towards their own exclusive pay-per-view, and then it leaves them little or no time at all to build for storylines for the co-branded pay-per-views. That was my issue with it, and I didn't like that at all. So the fact that WWE is cutting down pay-per-views significantly in 2018 is a smart move. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the decision was made due to network numbers. So Meltzer is reporting that although WWE increased the pay-per-views, there was no change in the pattern of numbers for the network at all. The idea was to add more shows to generate revenue on the network, but nothing really moved. In addition, there was a lower interest in the minor pay-per-views, particularly for the SmackDown Live brand. Although some of those expenses of an additional show were offset with higher ticket prices and a larger audience, it was not worth continuing to invest in the number of extra shows overall. At this past year's edition of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, SmackDown had 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches. One for the women, which was the first time ever. It was won by James Ellsworth. It caused a lot of controversy. WWE deemed that match a no contest. They had the match 2 weeks later on SmackDown Live. Carmella won that match, like I said, due to James Ellsworth climbing the ladder and dropping the briefcase down to her as she was too hurt to climb the ladder herself during the match. A second women's ladder match took place on SmackDown, like I said, 2 weeks later, and Carmella won the briefcase again on her own. As of right now, she's yet to cash in for a title shot. Baron Corbin won the men's edition of the ladder match for SmackDown last year, or this year rather. He attempted a cash-in during a match with John Cena and Jinder Mahal. However, Cena was able to prevent the Lone Wolf from making a successful cash-in. Corbin did win the United States Championship kind of as a pity party, kind of as one of those deals where you had to give that up. WWE gave him the United States Championship, and he currently holds that title right now on SmackDown Live. The Money in the Bank pay-per-view had featured ladder matches for both brands since the first edition of the pay-per-view in 2010. It followed that format for the next 3 years before shifting to both brands being joined together. As of last year, WWE's draft they began to have more brand-exclusive events and gave the Money in the Bank event to SmackDown Live. If these rumors are true, it could mean that there will be more than a few ladder matches for briefcases containing contracts. Or WWE may decide to have both brands compete in the same ladder match, which I will talk about in a second. It's always possible WWE will allow the winning superstar to choose the title for which they want to contend for. That could mean men's and women's ladder matches will feature both brand superstars, or if WWE keeps it by brand, they could really have 4 ladder matches with one for the men and 1 for the women of each brand. WWE has locked in the 2018 pay-per-view schedule. The schedule reveals that they will be doing less pay-per-views next year. Like I said, Meltzer stated it is a cost-cutting measure. WWE has scrapped Great Balls of Fire in July and No Mercy in September. Additionally, like I said, Money in the Bank is being added as a co-branded Raw and SmackDown show. Presumably, they will have 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches for men and women, respectively. WWE will run NXT TakeOver specials on the night before a Big 4 show. Now we can probably add Big 5, Money in the Bank, coinciding with NXT TakeOver Chicago. And that excites me greatly because Chicago loves their wrestling. And NXT TakeOver Chicago this year was fucking phenomenal. This year there was a takeover before Backlash, and that was in Chicago. So I'm assuming if they did that, then this year they're going to coincide that with Money in the Bank. Here's the 2018 schedule for WWE pay-per-views. Rumble, co-branded, January 28th in Philly. Elimination Chamber will be a Raw show, which will mean, hopefully, that a SmackDown Live star will win the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns can win the Elimination Chamber, and then he can gain entry to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania through the Elimination Chamber. That's on February 25th in Las Vegas. Fastlane. I don't know why they're bringing this back. I don't know why this is even a show. This will be a SmackDown show. This will be taking place on March 11th from Columbus, Ohio. WrestleMania, obviously co-branded, April 8th, New Orleans. Backlash will be a Raw show this year, May 6th from Newark, New Jersey. Payback is a SmackDown show on May 27th, so there's 2 pay-per-views in the month of May. That's coming from Baltimore. Money in the Bank, right away. We go from May 27th to June 17th. Money in the Bank, co-branded show from Chicago. Battleground will be a Raw show on July 15th from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. SummerSlam, August 19th from Brooklyn. Extreme Rules will be a Raw show. They're moving Extreme Rules. Typically, it's in May. They're moving Extreme Rules to September 16th to be exact. It's a Raw show. That's going to be from San Antonio, Texas. Hell in a Cell. Don't know why. I wish they would get rid of these gimmick pay-per-views. I don't know why they got rid of No Mercy. I would put No Mercy in Hell in a Cell spot. I don't understand that. Hell in a Cell, SmackDown show, September 30th, Nashville, Tennessee. Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, October 21st, from Boston. Survivor Series, co-branded pay-per-view, November 18th, Los Angeles. And then Clash of Champions, SmackDown show in 2018, just like it is this year, December 16th, from San Jose, California. I don't know why they just don't give us Halloween Havoc. They want to bring back WarGames. They want to bring back Starrcade. Why don't you give me Halloween Havoc and get rid of TLC? I don't understand these gimmick pay-per-views. We got rid of all the gimmick pay-per-views, but Hell in a Cell and TLC. I do not mind the Elimination Chamber. I don't mind it. I think the Elimination Chamber, A, is one of my favorite matches of the year. B, I think it's a great bridge between Rumble and Mania. And with the dual-branded, shows, you got Raw and SmackDown, I like that. It opens up one brand to have that and have their guys gain entry into the main event of WrestleMania through the Elimination Chamber. I think the Elimination Chamber has always been a vital part of the WrestleMania season. I'm glad that they're keeping it. Hell in a Cell and TLC, I don't know why we have these shows. They've done nothing in the past few years with these shows. They've watered down the concepts, and the shows just aren't good. I would prefer more traditional pay-per-views, but that's just me. Now, Money in the Bank being a part of the Big 5 this year, along with Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, this is a fantastic move. And I'm I am telling you right now, I would not, and I hope WWE doesn't do this, throw this shit out the window. Survivor Series, the one time a year where it's Raw versus SmackDown. Throw that shit out the fucking window. We know when November comes, it's going to be Raw versus SmackDown. Okay? That's what the Survivor Series is. That's what you've built Survivor Series as going forward. But it should not be the only time of the year where Raw and SmackDown superstars battle each other. Because it's not true. That's what we have the Royal Rumble for. There are superstars from both Raw and SmackDown battling each other inside the Royal Rumble. So automatically, that catchphrase, that little slogan goes out the window. The one time of the year where Raw goes against SmackDown. False. You got the Royal Rumble for that. Now, you're going to add the Money in the Bank pay-per-view to that concept as well. Because this is what needs to happen. 4 Money in the Bank ladder matches. 1 for Raw, the men. 1 for Raw, the women. And then the same for SmackDown. No way. I do not want to see, do not at all want to see 4 ladder matches in one night. A, that risks injury. B, it's fucking overkill. And C, you're going to make me wish Money in the Bank wasn't a pay-per-view. Just like I wish Hell in a Cell and TLC aren't pay-per-views. And I don't want that. I actually enjoy Money in the Bank. I'm actually excited for Money in the Bank every year. This is what you need to do. Money in the Bank, and this is what I stated should happen with King of the Ring. I don't know how many men or women they want in each of these matches. To me, 6 is the right number. If you want to do 8, fine. If you want to do 8, fine. Qualifying matches for each brand. You ain't just being picked to take part in Money in the Bank. Qualifying matches on each show. Make it important. 4 qualifying matches on Raw, 4 qualifying matches on SmackDown. And that happens with both men and women. Men can have 8. Women could have 6. I do not want 8 women. Actually, that's why I said 6 is the right number. There's just so many superstars. And if you're only going to do 2 ladder matches, 1 for the men, 1 for the women, then 8 is probably the right number to get the amount of superstars you want in there. Because there's going to be a lot of guys who we want to see in Money in the Bank. If it's going to be a co-branded pay-per-view, you want to see your favorite in there. I say 8. 8's fine for the men. I would do 6 for the women, but that's just me. But if you want to keep it even across the board, you do 8 for the men, 8 for the women. There'll be enough on both rosters, on both sides, for that to happen. Qualifying matches. 4 on Raw, 4 on SmackDown. Same for the women. 4 on Raw, 4 on SmackDown. 2 ladder matches is all you need. Is all you need for this show. Now, depending on who wins it, I would actually institute the winner of the Money in the Bank briefcase to challenge for any title in WWE. Meaning the Universal title or the WWE Championship. Why? Because I think it lends to being a little bit more unpredictable. I want the winner of the Money in the Bank briefcase. If it's a co-branded pay-per-view, if it's a dual-branded show, it should stretch out across both shows. You want to challenge for the WWE title? You want to show up on SmackDown? That's what the briefcase is for. You want to pick the WWE Championship to challenge for? By all means, you're welcome to do that. And if you want to challenge for the Universal title, you could do that as well. It doesn't matter what show you are on. If you are a Raw superstar and you want to show up on SmackDown and you want to cash in on AJ Styles, by all means, that is your right. It lends the product to be that much more unpredictable. And it's exciting. The Money in the Bank cash-in every year is one of the most exciting things in the year. You never know when it's coming. And when it does happen, it shakes up everything. It shakes up everything. It needs to be spread across both shows, both brands, and it needs to be a universal thing. It should not be a Raw superstar wins it and he only could get to cash in on the Universal Champion. Not going to happen. I don't want it to happen. Same thing for SmackDown. If he wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, he's just not set to challenge the WWE Champion. He can show up on Raw and challenge the Universal Champion as well. That's what needs to happen. You want to make it a co-branded pay-per-view? You want to make it that much more important? Then you do what I say. That's what needs to happen. Anything else besides that is going to water down the product. And it's going to make it very predictable. So I hope WWE takes this opportunity. If they're giving us Money in the Bank, I would prefer King of the Ring. I would make the King of the Ring. You want to make these things 4 hours, right? Back in the day, 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes. WWE wants to make these big shows 4 hours, right? These cold-branded shows 4 hours. King of the Ring would be perfect in the middle of the summer. You make it a huge 16-man tournament. You have that whole fucking thing take place in one night. You crown one king, and that is the #1 contender for any championship in the WWE. Universal or WWE Championship. And that will main event SummerSlam. That's what I want. WWE has to follow the same path with those plans and that idea for Money in the Bank. Simple as that. So I'm hoping WWE listens to me. I'm hoping that Survivor Series isn't the only show of the year where Raw does battle with SmackDown, because it's not true. Rumble is in January, and we're going to have Raw and SmackDown guys battling each other out to win the 30-man over-the-top rope battle royal. So the same thing can happen with Money in the Bank. Raw versus SmackDown guys battling it out for one briefcase that's universal to the entire company. Same thing with the men. And then you build the undercard as you see fit with whatever storylines you got going on. Tag team championships, women's championship, cruiserweight championship, some undercard matches, whatever. Gonna be a big weekend. Money in the Bank and NXT TakeOver Chicago. Take my fucking money. Gonna be good shit. And hopefully WWE does what needs to be done for Money in the Bank. Lio Rush apparently is on thin ice in WWE. And this is sad news, man. Lio Rush, everybody knows how talented Lio Rush is. I've called Lio Rush matches for House of Glory. I've mentioned that several times. But multiple sources have said this week that there are still people in WWE that do not like Lio Rush and still have heat on him after his joke about Emma on the day she was released from the company. Speaking of Emma, it makes you wonder how WWE didn't find Emma to be valuable, but they're bringing up fucking Mandy Rose. Are you serious? This is another thing I thought of and I didn't think of when I was doing my Monday Night Raw review. How are you going to bring up Mandy fucking Rose, but release Emma? How does Mandy Rose factor into any future plans, but Emma does not? I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. Which lends to the credibility that Vince McMahon wanted her to be Emelina. This was a concept, an idea that he brought forth to the table, and she didn't do it. She didn't put her heart in it, and she disobeyed Vince McMahon. She went against Vince McMahon. She didn't put her full effort into a Vince McMahon idea. And if you were on the bad side of Vince McMahon, then you're pretty much done. I don't know why they didn't fire her then and took almost another year and a half to let her go. But that's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from the talent standpoint. How could you find use for Mandy Rose, but can't find use for Emma? That's just me. The heat also has to do with him coming off as cocky and full of himself despite only being in the company for a couple of months. It should be noted that he has not been used at any of the live events since that tweet. In fact, the last show he worked was October 28th. We are now almost a full month in, and Lio Rush has not worked anything for WWE. He worked a match against Gunner from TNA. His tweet about Emma was one day later on 10/29. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that this week there are people in the company that see Rush as a legit superstar when he moves up to the main roster. But there is a lot of heat on him, with the tweet being the catalyst, and he's been on thin ice ever since. Rush already had some heat on him prior to signing with WWE, but those people really don't matter anymore. It's what happens within the confines, within the walls of WWE. There were some fans and people in the business that criticized him for no-selling a powerbomb off a ladder at a CZW show in August. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? You know? I don't like that type of behavior. I don't like that type of behavior whatsoever. He should have sold the fucking powerbomb off a ladder. Through a table. That's a given. But something like that, you know, that doesn't really factor into what Lio Rush is going through now. I'm hoping that he comes out of this. That scares me that he hasn't worked in almost an entire month. Come the 29th of this month, it will be an entire month that he has not worked a match in WWE. Maybe this is them punishing him. Maybe this is WWE humbling him. And he needed to be humbled. He needed to understand you can't be doing this in WWE, especially against someone who was a colleague. You might not have worked directly with her, but you can't be going on social media and saying those types of things, no matter if you thought it was a joke or innocent or not. This is a friend of people in the company that you work for. Of course, they're going to take it as demeaning and negative and wrong. When she got fired, they're going to back her up and stick up for her. Lio Rush being 22 years old. It doesn't take a 22-year-old to know common sense. You should know common sense even at a young age. Okay? Don't cross the street when the light's green. Right? Eat your vegetables. Don't put bad shit in your body. Give up the sugary candies and drinks. You know? Logic. Logic. Do well in school. Don't be a bully in school. Do your homework. Don't neglect your parents. Respect your parents. Common sense at a young age. You know what to do at a young age. You learn. Don't make fun of your friends. Lio Rush ultimately made fun of his friend. They might not have worked together, but she is a colleague or an employee of the company. You can't be saying that type of shit on social media while you're employed with the company. This isn't the Indies, bro. This isn't the Indies. I love Lio Rush. I think the guy's got fucking potential out the ass. But the fact that a tweet at the wrong time, in the wrong place, in the wrong situation, might get this guy fired, there's nobody to blame but himself. There's nobody to blame but himself. Will WWE let him go? No, I don't think they're going to let him go. They're going to fucking punish this guy. They're going to humble him. You're going to see him on NXT eventually. He's going to get his ass kicked. He's going to get his ass kicked. He's going to be buried on NXT. He's going to be buried. Then he's going to hit a low point, and there's going to be nowhere else for him to go but up. Once he hits that low point, he will know and understand that this is WWE, and you have to follow the orders of the machine. If not, they'll get rid of you. Because WWE already thinks everybody is expendable and replaceable. I don't want to see this happen to Lio Rush. I think NXT is that much better with Lio Rush there. I think Lio Rush has the potential to be an absolute stud in NXT. And I, as a fan, knowing what the guy can do, would be very disappointed that NXT will not have Lio Rush because of a fucking tweet. Thin ice. I hope this is just gonna pass. I hope eventually this is just water under the bridge. Don't do it again. You learned your lesson. It's okay to be cocky. It's okay to be cocky. But show respect to your coworkers. Everybody in NXT was really, really fucking upset with him too. So they might be keeping him away from everybody until things die down. We'll see what happens with Lio Rush, man. On thin ice, I hope his job ultimately is not in jeopardy. Speaking of NXT, Drew McIntyre confirms injury at NXT TakeOver WarGames. This is nothing new. As noted on Saturday night after NXT TakeOver WarGames, Drew McIntyre was injured during the final seconds of his match with Andrade Cien Almas. The injury occurred as Almas was executing a draping DDT off the top rope, and McIntyre held onto the rope for too long. You know where the spot is coming from, and you know where the spot is, and you see McIntyre hold on to the rope, and as he goes down, obviously something was torn in the process. The finish of the match was always supposed to be Almas winning the title, and there was no audible called, as some were speculating. As of this writing, there is no word on how long McIntyre will be out of action, but if the injury is a torn bicep, it could be 6 to 8 months of McIntyre off NXT television. So, everybody was reporting that it was an audible. We really didn't know when the injury occurred. Now that we know when the injury occurred, now that we understand where the injury occurred, we know that it wasn't an audible because that was the closing sequence of the match. It was supposed to be Almas winning the title all along, which I don't know what that meant for Drew McIntyre. Were they ready to move him up already? Were they ready to move McIntyre up already? And I could see them wanting to do that. But it's a shame that the guy's going to be out 6 to 8 months now. Almas, people were saying that he pretty much had to win this match. They were building him up. They were building him up. Zelina Vega took him to the heights that he's never seen before in NXT. He needed to win because they put so much behind Almas and getting him here that he had to win the title to keep this momentum. If he lost, he'd pretty much just be another Hideo Itami. He got a title match and then disappeared. I thought Almas, and I know that I read Almas was one of the guys rumored to be brought up to the main roster. But with Zelina Vega, now with Almas, and Almas as the NXT champion, several things are now possible of happening. A, this might have spared him from 205 Live. Without Zelina Vega, I think Almas was destined for 205 Live. Speaking of 205 Live, Hideo Itami is confirmed for 205 Live. They did a feature package or a highlight on 205 Live stating that Hideo Itami is coming to 205 Live. Zelina Vega has ultimately spared Cien Almas from going to 205 Live. She has made him a main event act. And I mentioned this on my NXT TakeOver WarGames review. You guys can go back and watch it. Almas was La Sombra, former IWGP Intercontinental Champion. One of the best wrestlers on the planet. WWE brought him in with so much fanfare. They took the mask off him, and they gave him this, I don't know what type of gimmick it was supposed to be. Came out in overalls, white overalls, and a top hat. I don't know if he was supposed to be a fucking ballet dancer. I used to call him Mr. Strippergram. It looked like he was going to pop out of a fucking cake at a bachelorette party. He looked like a fucking male stripper. Nobody understood what he was supposed to be. Nobody understood why we should care about this guy by the way he looks or the way he's presented. But we knew, everybody knew that this guy in the ring was fucking great. And that came more apparent over time. We seen Almas and what he can do. And we were all in agreement. Andrade Almas was one of the best in-ring performers, not only in the WWE, but in the world. This guy might have been the best in-ring performer in NXT. That's how good he was. Then they turned him heel. Then they gave him black overalls and a top hat. People still didn't care about him. Now all of a sudden you add a fucking spicy 4'11" Latina in Zelina Vega who's fucking absolutely gorgeous. And now Almas' character is an NXT champion. The dynamic of a beautiful woman and someone who can play that role so great and be a equalizer to anything that happens to Almas. That's a fucking game-changing act. Not only did he win the NXT championship, but it spared him. I truly believe it spared him from going to 205 Live. Because I seen Andrade Cien Almas, I had 205 Live written all over him. Written all over him. Now I can see him on Smackdown. I see him fitting perfect on Smackdown. They need that Latina flair on Smackdown Live. I see him being a perfect addition to Smackdown Live. I'd love, the way I see him now, I would love to see Almas and AJ Styles, man. Can you imagine the fucking matches that those guys can have for the WWE Championship? My goodness. My goodness. Almas and Nakamura. Almas and Orton. Almas is easily moving up the ladder, man, quick, as one of my top talents in WWE. And it's all because of Zelina Vega. They added Zelina Vega. They added a background to him, to his story. They built a relationship between the two. Now he's the NXT champion. So where do you go from here? If Almas was supposed to win the championship all along, where do you go from here? McIntyre may end up coming back to NXT, but we all know McIntyre's too good to be in NXT. He might come back after this injury and go right to the main roster. I can't see Vince McMahon looking at him and not wanting him on the main roster. Drew McIntyre is perfect. Perfect for the main roster. So I can't see them bypassing him for the main roster when he comes back. But what do you do with Almas? I'm hearing people talk about Almas being that bridge for Aleister Black to get the championship. That's a little bit too predictable. Like we would have Almas and Black at WrestleMania weekend. in New Orleans, Takeover New Orleans. That's a little bit too predictable if you ask me. I mentioned this on my Takeover review. This is what I would do. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know, my off-the-script audience. Let me know what you think if you missed that review and results video. Almas and Johnny Gargano had one of the best NXT matches all year. One of the best WWE matches all year, period. At Brooklyn. Takeover Brooklyn 3. Johnny Gargano is in this storyline where he doesn't feel like he belongs in NXT anymore. Like he doesn't know how to get on the right track. So he gets on the right track. He proves himself to William Regal. And he gets to the point where he finally thinks again he belongs. And he challenges Andrade Cien Almas for the NXT Championship. He wins the NXT Championship in Philadelphia. That place would go fucking crazy for a Johnny Gargano victory. Imagine Johnny Gargano as the NXT Champion. Johnny Gargano's feeling good. Johnny Gargano's on top of the world. Johnny Gargano's going into NXT TakeOver in New Orleans. You could put him against anybody. I don't know. Whatever. Or if you want to wait till New Orleans for Gargano to win the title, you could do that as well. Because this storyline might take a little bit to develop. The longer, I think, for this type of storyline, the better. Have him win it in New Orleans. Maybe you do Almas and Cassius Ohno. I don't know. Or Almas and Velveteen Dream. I don't know. Something along those lines. I have no fucking idea. I have no idea. But this will ultimately lead to Johnny Gargano winning the NXT Championship. Aleister Black is a little bit too predictable, if you ask me. And some people think that Aleister Black needs to win the NXT Championship to get called up to the main roster. I think Aleister Black is ready for the main roster now. I think Aleister Black doesn't need the NXT Championship to prove that he belongs. Like, I don't understand this perception of people thinking that someone has to win the NXT Women's Championship, or they have to win the NXT Tag Team Championships, or they have to win the NXT Heavyweight Championship. Peyton Royce doesn't need the NXT Women's Championship to prove that she's worthy of a main roster run. She doesn't. Ember Moon didn't need it. They only gave it to Ember Moon because of what she's done with Asuka all year, which was kind of shitty. Right? Now that Asuka's not there, now she's like, oh, okay, now I got the championship, all because Asuka's not there. But the perception of people thinking that a talent in NXT needs a championship to be successful. No. No, he doesn't. Would you mind seeing another match with Almas and Gargano? Would you mind seeing another match with Black or Dream? I wouldn't mind another couple of months of a build between Aleister Black and the Velveteen Dream. Maybe he seeks something else from Aleister Black. After the match that they had, I know I wouldn't mind it. Gargano wins the championship. He's on top of the world. Tommaso Ciampa comes back and fucks his parade up. The NXT Championship match for SummerSlam, which should have been this year in Brooklyn, at Brooklyn 4, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT Championship. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. I think that's got money written all over it. By itself, it's a great feud. Can you imagine the fucking heat in that building? Can you imagine the epicness of Gargano and Ciampa for the NXT Championship? Can you imagine what that title will do to that feud and elevate that feud? Holy shit. After what we've seen those two do in the Cruiserweight Classic, after what we've seen Ciampa do to Gargano, he felt Gargano was overshadowing him. People were looking to replace Ciampa in the tag team match to find Johnny a new partner because they didn't think Ciampa was good enough or healthy enough. Can you imagine Tommaso Ciampa's reaction coming back to NXT to see Johnny Gargano, the NXT champion, what that was going to do to him? Dude, that's got money written all over it. It's got money written all over it. That's how I do it. I don't think Aleister Black needs the NXT championship. By the time Aleister Black is, going to roll into WrestleMania, Ricochet's probably going to be there. Have those two feud. There'll be plenty to keep Aleister Black busy. You don't need to automatically put him in a world championship feud. That's what I would do, man. I don't know about you guys. That's what I would do. WWE in talks to produce a weekly show. Not for the network. Not for USA. But for Facebook Live. Pro Wrestling Sheet is reporting that WWE is in talks with Facebook to produce a weekly Facebook Live show. If they're able to work out a deal, then the show would premiere in January after Smackdown Live goes off the air. This would be a full-blown show. 1 hour. This is the real deal. It's not one of these fucking 20, 25-minute deals. This is a real show. It would be like Raw. It would be like Smackdown. And not like the Facebook Live segments that you currently see on WWE's Facebook account. This would mean that 205 Live, which currently airs live on the WWE Network after Smackdown, would be taped. So, then that means that this show would be taped before Smackdown. There would be several ideas pitched for this to happen. The format will likely include stars from both Raw and SmackDown Live, and there has been a pitch to do a mixed tag team concept with the combination of male and female superstars. WWE is one of the most popular brands on Facebook, which is why they visited their headquarters in 2015. Facebook is looking to ramp up their lineup of exclusive Facebook Live shows in 2018, so it makes sense for them to want to work a deal with WWE. Maybe I should take fucking off the script of Facebook Live. To be honest with you. See how that goes there. But, listen, man, I'm not interested in seeing mixed tag team match. I fucking hate the mixed tag team matches in Lucha Underground. I hate when men go one-on-one with women. I hate that. Not saying that it would be that way in WWE. You're not going to see fucking Sasha Banks go one-on-one with Seth Rollins, you know. Not going to be shit like that. It's going to be, you know, mixed tag team matches. When the guy tags in, the other guy has to tag in. When a woman tags in, the other woman has to tag in. I'm not interested in that, man. That's a shitty, lame concept. That's a lazy concept. Why add another hour of television to an already stacked lineup for the week? Raw, SmackDown, then you're going to have 205 Live, and then you're going to have this, then NXT, and then during a pay-per-view week? Holy shit, man. Content out the ass. Just add this to another show that I will not watch. I don't watch 205 Live. I don't know what is going to get me to watch 205 Live. It's not going to be Hideo Itami. It's not going to be Neville coming back. Certainly not Enzo. And me watching another Facebook show or a WWE show on Facebook Live, and your idea is to do a mixed tag team concept? I'm going to pass, bro. I find that to be unimportant, and it's not going to factor into any build towards a pay-per-view. Just going to be something else that WWE is going to put their talent through, and it's going to be something else to give the fans more content. I don't want more content. I want less content, actually. I'm overwhelmed. During a pay-per-view weekend like we just had Survivor Series, I'm overwhelmed, bro. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT Takeover, preview, predictions. Then you got to review the shows. Lots of stuff, man. Lots of fucking stuff. I can't handle more WWE weekly programming. But they are in talks, and the concept is a mixed tag team concept. Not for me. Details on why The Miz dropped the Intercontinental title. Roman Reigns defeated The Miz in the main event of Monday Night Raw this past week to become the new Intercontinental Champion. You guys know how I feel about that. WWE not only has the Universal Championship held hostage, and now they got Roman Reigns holding the IC title hostage, ultimately leaving Monday Night Raw without a title for wrestlers and superstars to battle for and compete for. Because you know Roman Reigns ain't losing that Intercontinental Championship before WrestleMania. You know WWE and Vince McMahon see the IC champion versus the Universal Champion at WrestleMania. Battle of Champions. They're going to try and revisit WrestleMania 6 with Hogan and Warrior. This time, you got Reigns playing the role of the Warrior and Lesnar playing the role of Hulk Hogan. Give me a break. Give me a break. It's nauseating to even compare the two scenarios. It's nauseating enough that Vince McMahon has a massive boner for Roman Reigns. And the fact that they're sabotaging the entire roster for this guy and this feud and this match. I don't like Reigns as the IC champion. IC champion should be Finn Balor or Jeff Hardy. Guys like that. If Roman Reigns is not going to put anybody over, this is a waste of fucking time. Roman Reigns should really be putting over a younger talent. Elias, Finn Balor. Give me a break, man. The IC title should have went to Matt Hardy a couple of weeks ago on Monday Night Raw when he fought The Miz. Seriously. I was ready for that. Or one of the few matches that Jeff Hardy had with The Miz. Should have dropped it then. After Raw went off the air, The Shield proceeded to put The Miz through the announce table. So why did The Miz drop the title? Turns out there is more than just a storyline for this reason. According to a report from Mike Johnson of PW Insider, the reason why The Miz dropped the title is because he's taking some time off to film a movie. A source says that The Miz will be filming another installment of the Marine franchise from the WWE studios. He has starred in the last 3. PW Insider is told that there is no timetable for The Miz's return, and Monday was his final appearance until filming is completed. The powerbomb to The Miz after Raw went off the air seems to be the way the WWE has chosen to write him off of television. Same thing goes for Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is going to be in the same Marine movie that The Miz is starring in, The Marine 6, Close Quarters. She will be starring alongside Miz and Shawn Michaels. It is unclear what her role will be. This is awesome news for Becky. It gets her into a bigger spotlight. But she will be off WWE television for a few weeks. Becky Lynch was attacked backstage on Smackdown Live this week when Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan made their WWE main roster debuts. This was done in order to write her off SmackDown Live for the next several weeks. The movie begins filming on Monday, this past Monday, which means Becky will be off television from now until then. So, The Miz also lost the Intercontinental Championship. Actually, I'm sorry. The filming begins this coming Monday. So, that's that. The Miz also lost the Intercontinental title this week to Roman Reigns on Raw and was written off television with a post-match powerbomb by The Shield. This is only speculation, but it could also explain why Becky was eliminated first from the Survivor Series. Fans were concerned that Becky was being buried since she was the first one out. It looks like her being off television for a little while could explain why WWE eliminated her so quickly. You're not going to build someone up only to have them come off television for the next month and a half while filming a movie. That much I understand. So at least there's some answers to these questions that we had from Survivor Series weekend. There's no sense in keeping her in the match late if she isn't going to be on TV or factor into storylines. No reason to make her look strong if she's going to be off TV. With the build towards Clash of Champions starting this week, people are assuming that Becky will be off that pay-per-view. Her return date is unknown, but if I hear anything, I will let you guys know right here on Off the Script. So those are the answers to those questions. Why The Miz dropped the IC title, why Becky was beaten up by Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan. Both of them will be starring alongside Shawn Michaels in The Marine 6. Close Quarters, straight to DVD special at Kmart. There you go. There you go, man. That's all the news I got, man. That is all the news that I got. Now, it's time for the social media segment. Brought to you by, as always, barbershopwindow.com. 30% off everything. Code Black Friday. barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. It is in the layout that you see right now on your screen. Go and get your t-shirts because, damn, they are the nicest t-shirt for any podcast right now in the community. Gender, get off my TV. The new Benched t-shirt. And then the other 10 designs that you see there, all classic and iconic designs to what we talk about right here on Off the Script. So thank you guys so very much for that. Nick Goodell, he asks, and if you guys want to get on this, JDOTS, tweet me, JDOTS, use the hashtag. Do you think in NXT they should turn Ember Moon heel, have her be like Asuka, not full-fledged but partial, and have Kairi Sane chase as semi-heel Ember Moon? Not right now. Not right now. That would work if and when Kairi Sane starts being built up as that #1 contender for Ember Moon. And Ember Moon, I could see, after months and months and months as reigning and defending NXT Women's Champion, I can see Ember Moon do whatever she has to do to keep that title. She did state that this is the greatest moment of her career. She's not going to give this up very easily. So I can see once she's being threatened by an incoming challenge, I could see Ember Moon definitely not going heel, but I could see her using the same heel tactics that Asuka was using to keep her reign going. There's nothing wrong with that. By any means necessary. You are the champion. By default, it's tougher for you to keep that championship. It's tougher for you to keep the championship compared to you chasing the championship. So yes, I could see that happening, but not turning Ember Moon heel. She is a babyface through and through. I love the persona. I love the gimmick. And I like Ember Moon a lot. I think she's one of the best women that WWE has employed on that roster. For all three brands. Not just NXT. All three brands. But yes, I can see her using heel tactics to keep her reign going. Not full-fledged heel, but heel tactics. British Davis, what's up, brother? How would you make Matt Hardy broken now that it's been so long since we've seen him broken? I honestly, at this point, I would just turn him broken. I would just turn him broken. If not, I would wait till Jeff comes back. If he's still around at that time, I don't know. At that point, I think it might be too late. I really do think it would be too late. But I got two ways to possibly do this. A would be now, and I stated this a few weeks ago, I would do it with a returning Bray Wyatt. I would have Bray Wyatt. I think Bray Wyatt would be the perfect catalyst to turn Matt Hardy broken. And if you don't want to do that, I would wait till Jeff comes back, and I would actually have Matt turn on Jeff and become broken. I would actually have Matt blame Jeff for the injury. I would have him just say that he is, you know, an obsolete mule. And I would say that he's nothing but a glorified spot monkey. And he injured himself doing spot monkey type things. And I would have Matt blame Jeff for leaving him to suffer on Monday Night Raw. And that's what caused his breakup. That's what caused him being broken. Because Jeff wasn't there due to his own jealous and inconsiderate ways. You know, I would have Matt turn on Jeff and become broken because of that. Those are the only two ways I see it. I don't see anybody else doing it. I don't see anybody else being a catalyst for Matt becoming broken. Drew, Orlando Buckeye on Twitter. What's up, brother? What's up, JD? Loved your Walking Dead stream. This is a non-wrestling related question, by the way, clowns. Your reactions were timeless. Consider talking to everyone in Season 2 so you can get to know them better and solve puzzles. But it's your game. Have fun with it. Will you do the 400 Days special episode of Season 1? Drew, I don't think I am. I've asked several people, and they said that it does not play at all into the storyline. So I might just do and start with Season 2. And I will be doing Season 2. This is a very highly requested topic. I am waiting because Telltale Games apparently is releasing all of the series, all of the seasons in one bundle. And it will probably be cheaper for me to buy the entire bundle together than buy them separately at $15 a piece. They'll probably sell all 4 seasons for like $30 when I can buy all 4 and spend an extra $30, which I don't want to do. I want to save myself money. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for an official confirmation on that. If anybody can find that out for me, if you guys want to facilitate that for me, I would definitely buy it and then start it immediately. Because everything else to me right now, Call of Duty's dead, Destiny's dead, you know, WWE 2K18's dead. This has been a very disappointing year for these big titles. Garbage. So if I'm going to keep my guys entertained on my channel, if I'm going to keep you guys entertained, I might as well do what you guys want me to do. So if anybody can find that out for me, please do so. Charles. Actually, no, we had that asked on yesterday's question. Omar. What do you think of Paul Heyman if he was paired with Finn Balor or Big Cass? Will it be something big? I could see Finn Balor and Paul Heyman together. You know, typically, Paul Heyman paired with just anybody ain't going to work. But I think Paul Heyman has a big enough respect for Finn Balor that I think it would work. You know, it didn't work with Curtis Axel. It didn't work with Cesaro. It didn't work with Cesaro because WWE pulled Cesaro out of something that he was already gold in. And that is a team with Jack Swagger. They pulled him out of a team that was organically getting over by themselves. And they put him with Paul Heyman. I don't know why. I don't know why. Curtis Axel could have worked, but WWE, that was WWE's fault. There's no reason to believe why Axel couldn't thrive in that role. Axel has a great look. Axel's the son of Mr. Perfect. Axel has great mic skills. Axel is a very, very good wrestler. It's the fact that WWE did not want Axel in that role anymore. So it kind of floundered. Just went nowhere. I could see Finn Balor with Paul Heyman. I could see Big Cass with Paul Heyman too. Not necessarily saying that it would work, but if I had to choose one or the other, I would rather see him with Finn Balor. I would like to see them. I would like to see him with the club. All four of them together. Have them represent all three of those guys. I think that would be great. I really think that would be good. Broken. All hail Moro at Eddie King 455. Do you think the Superstar Shakeup is a good concept for every year, or do you think WWE should bring back the draft system, not the original draft system for 2002, the one that started in 2007? I do not like the Superstar Shakeups. The Superstar Shakeup, to me, I think did more bad to SmackDown than it did good. And I don't like random wrestlers just showing up on SmackDown Live and Monday Night Raw and saying, hey, I'm here. I was on that show yesterday, but now I'm here. No. The draft should be constituted as a thing every year. The draft should be one of those things that's separated. It should have its own entity. The draft should be its own entity. You need to make it like a big sports, NFL, MLB, NBA type draft atmosphere. And you need to have it be that way because this is a big deal. You're setting the stage for your entire calendar year. Every year after WrestleMania, that should be your reset button. That Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania should be the draft. That's your reset button. Because that's typically when WWE resets the calendar year anyway. That Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. I would have all hands on deck. I'd make it a big 3-hour show on Monday Night Raw. You set out the SmackDown and Raw rosters. You make it a big sports-like atmosphere. That's what I would do. The Superstar Shakeups, it's not a good concept. The Superstar Shakeup is a lazy concept. It was very lazy and very underwhelming. And it left SmackDown, SmackDown has a great roster. But at that point, it left SmackDown in a bad way. Monday Night Raw clearly got the best of the Superstar Shakeup. Even though SmackDown ended up getting Nakamura and Bobby Roode, Monday Night Raw was gifted several of the talents on SmackDown Live that made a new name for themselves. They went over to Monday Night Raw and they were not as popular as they were on SmackDown Live. You took the vital portions of SmackDown Live and you made the show weaker. You made the show weaker. And I will never understand why WWE did that. Canadian Basement, what's up, bro? Happy Thanksgiving, bro. How would you fix 205 Live if you had to fix it and not just cancel it? I would get rid of the 205 weight limit. I would get rid of the 205 weight limit. I would not limit Cedric Alexander, Rich Swann, Jack Gallagher, TJ Perkins, Brian Kendrick, Tony Nese, Hideo Itami, Neville. I would not limit them to the bubble that is 205 Live. I would put those guys on Raw. I want to see a Hideo Itami versus a Samoa Joe. I want to see a Neville versus a Seth Rollins or a Neville versus a Finn Balor. Why are you going to limit those guys to their own little world? Why? Get rid of the 205 weight limit. It was good for the tournament. It made sense for the tournament. But to build a whole division based on a weight limit when we got Sami Zayn at 190 pounds and Finn Balor at 180 pounds competing with the heavyweights? Not right, bro. Stupid. Absolutely ridiculous. Let me see what we got here, man. Undefeated at Postman13 on Twitter. How well would a superstar ranking system work on Raw and SmackDown similar to 2K games? I think visually seeing who's on top would give them something to fight for and kill all the fatal four-ways. I would love it. I would absolutely love it. WWE does power rankings on WWE.com. For what? They do it for aesthetic reasons. They do it just to fill content and put content on the website. Meanwhile, it factors into nothing. I don't want to see who is top of the list and who's ranking on the list or who's hot, who's trending. If it's not going to factor into storylines, they should take that and apply it to Raw and SmackDown. That would make the shows more believable. It would give everybody more of an opportunity. And you could actually book the shows better with that concept. That's what I think they should do. That's how I run my universe mode. That's how I'm going to run my universe mode when I start doing it on Twitch. I base it off the rankings. I make matches from the rankings. I come up with championship matches and contenders through my rankings. Simple as that. Easy way to go about it, but WWE won't do that because it's too old school of a mentality. Doesn't fit into their mold of what they want to see on programming right now. Infamous the Creator, Little J from D-Town. Do you think Almas will be a transitional champion for Aleister Black or Adam Cole, or will he have a lengthy title run? Talked about this earlier. I think Almas eventually will be a transitional champion for Aleister Black. I think WWE is going to go with Aleister Black. I do not think they're going to go with my Johnny Gargano idea. I would be shocked if they do. I think that would be more interesting for us to see Gargano and Ciampa. I think Aleister Black is a little bit too predictable. I don't think Aleister Black needs to be NXT champion to warrant him as successful. I want you guys to get rid of that mentality. Adam Cole, I think the fact that Adam Cole was pretty much being groomed for Drew McIntyre and the next challenger for Drew McIntyre, I think with the injury to McIntyre, it really fucked Adam Cole and it pushed Adam Cole back a step or two. Now I think Adam Cole is going to be waiting a little bit longer to get his shot. But that's why he's got Undisputed. He's got Undisputed to worry about. He's got Undisputed to lead and make sure they are good and well off. Have O'Reilly and Fish win the tag team championships first. Then Cole can get his shot at the NXT championship. And I love Adam Cole. I think Adam Cole's great. Adam Cole has a lot of Shawn Michaels in him. That's why I like him so much. And I think Adam Cole is a major player in the future of WWE. I think when Aleister Black wins the world title, I think we see Cole and Black for the NXT championship. I would love to see Gargano Ciampa. That's just the way I'm seeing it right now. But yes, I do think Almas is going to be a transitional champion. I think he is merely holding it, keeping it warm for Aleister Black. New Orleans, Black will be the NXT champion. Matt, LOL, why am I here? On Twitter. What does WWE need to do next year in order to give them life again? They need to not do it for Roman. Simple answer. Simple answer for that. Let me see here. Dismissible on Twitter. Opinions on Vince calling Hideo up for 205 Live. Pretty much going to get the Aries treatment. It's the way I see it. And when you go up, there's no way for you to go back down. So it's either he does what he's got to do on 205 Live, and if he's not happy, he pulls a Neville and leaves. I don't think Hideo Itami's contract is that long remaining anyway. He may end up going back to Japan. I can't see him traveling on the road with WWE to be kept in a bubble on 205 Live. I can't see that. They pulled him out of his nice, cozy position at the PC on NXT in Florida, and now they're moving him to the road on the main roster with 205 Live. To what? Battle Enzo? And eat fucking the Giordano's by Enzo Amore? Come on. Hideo Itami is worth so much more than that. Now, if you bring Hideo Itami up and you bring Neville back and you give the title back to Neville and you have a championship match of Neville and Hideo Itami, then you got my interest. But is WWE going to do that? I don't think so. I don't think so. But 205 Live, Hideo is not going to get me to watch 205 Live at all. Don't like it, and I don't think he lasts. I think he goes back to Japan. What can WWE do? This is coming from Coltrane 2017 on Twitter. What can WWE do if AJ Styles loses the WWE title to Jinder Mahal? What feuds can you see happening for him? I don't think AJ Styles is losing the WWE title. That would be like WWE taking 8 steps backwards. They're not going to do that. They know Jinder's a failure. They know he didn't work out. Why would you go back to something that just did not work out and expect different results? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's a possibility that could happen, but the backlash that would happen, SmackDown's in the shitter already. You don't want to put it in the shitter even more. But if he does lose the title, expect a rant. And if he does lose the title, I still think we see Styles and Nakamura at WrestleMania. Jinder will probably go on to fight John Cena, and our WrestleMania card would get a lot worse. But I don't think AJ Styles is going to lose the WWE Championship at Clash of the Champions to Jinder Mahal. What are my top 3 takeovers of all time? This is from the Dark Knight. Dark Knight 39093344 on Twitter. Damn, man, that's a tough one. That's a fucking tough one, man. I'm just basing things on what we've seen recently. I'm gonna have to go with the first Brooklyn takeover. I'm gonna have to go with Chicago, and then I'm gonna have to go with WarGames. I think what they did for Chicago and what they did for WarGames was fucking fantastic. I want to say last year's Survivor Series. I want to say Takeover Toronto, just because of that Revival DIY match. The greatest tag team match I have ever seen on WWE programming. But those are my 3. The first Brooklyn, Chicago, and WarGames. I loved WarGames. I thought WarGames was fucking great. I really did. I thought Almas and McIntyre might have been one of the best NXT Championship matches that we've seen in a long time. Black versus Dream was great. WarGames was fucking phenomenal. You know, Sullivan and Ono did its thing to open the show. 2 beasts. The women's match didn't get enough time, but we got an emotional moment with Ember Moon. It had everything. That show had everything. And Chicago was great too. That fucking 3-way ladder match. Ciampa turning on Gargano. Some good stuff there, man. Some really good stuff. KJ Bantic at AJ Styles GOAT on Twitter. If you could choose only one to return, CM Punk or Daniel Bryan, I am going with CM Punk because I think CM Punk is the only remaining man out there in this industry that could have a huge effect on not only viewership, ratings, but I think CM Punk coming back could bring back a whole new level of interest to the WWE. I'm going with CM Punk, and I think he will come back. Maybe not to the WWE right away, but when Bryan is not able to wrestle in WWE, and I stated this, if he goes to Ring of Honor New Japan, I think Daniel Bryan will not willingly call CM Punk to come out, but I think when CM Punk sees Daniel Bryan come back and move away from WWE, I think CM Punk will come back to wrestling, and I honestly do believe in 2019 we will see CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan somewhere in this vast landscape that is professional wrestling. How would I book Aleister Black on the main roster? Blake Stevenson at Saber_556. I would actually book Aleister Black in a very similar manner to The Undertaker. I think Aleister Black has Undertaker mystique to him. I'm not saying that he's the next Undertaker. I'm not saying that there will ever be another Undertaker. But Aleister Black has that sinister, dark, mysterious quietness to him. And he doesn't really say much. Just like The Undertaker didn't say much. He only speaks when he needs to speak. That's why I say he's got a lot of Undertaker tendencies. I would book Aleister Black exactly like The Undertaker. Not impervious or anything like that, but character-wise. I think Aleister Black is an eventual WWE champion. I think the guy has a ceiling that he is going to break through and absolutely shatter it into 1,000 fucking pieces, man. That's how good I think he is. I think the character is phenomenal. I think he's going to get over on the main roster. I think people are going to take to him very easily. He's an easy character to follow, an easy character to fall in love with and watch and be invested in. I think he's going to be a great addition to the main roster. I don't know where he'd go. I really don't. I would rather see anybody on Smackdown first than Monday Night Raw, but I could see him on either brand. I could see him as IC champion. I could see him feuding with Samoa Joe. I could see him feuding first for the Intercontinental title, maybe against a Finn Balor, Samoa Joe. You know, I could see him on SmackDown against a Styles or an Owens or a Nakamura or an Orton. I could see big things from this guy, man. He's going to be a major deal on the main roster, and he's got world champion written all over him. What would you call the NXT mid-card title if you had to create one? This is Austin Verge at Austin Jets fan on Twitter. I would call it the Dream title. I know Salomonster made mention of that. I would make it the NXT Dream title or the NXT Dream Championship named after Dusty Rhodes. I would not bring it back a television title. I think that's way too old school. Keep on the path where you're just paying homage to Dusty Rhodes. You brought back Starrcade. You brought back WarGames. Go another step further and make a mid-card title for these guys. I think they need something to fight for, while not everybody could be in the NXT Championship title picture. The NXT Dream Championship would be their mid-card championship. Being that Vince, this is a good question. Being that Vince doesn't seem to want to bring back King of the Ring, could you ever see Triple H bringing back the concept to do NXT TakeOver King of the Ring? What would you think of the winner main eventing TakeOver during Mania weekend, or maybe TakeOver Brooklyn? I love it. I love it. I love tournaments. I think a tournament in NXT would be fucking fantastic. A yearly tournament in NXT. Whatever WWE doesn't want. Whatever WWE doesn't want, give to NXT. I'm sure they will fucking use it and make it even better. I love it. I think that's a great idea. Have it in the summer. You got Money in the Bank being one of the big five now. So make King of the Ring, NXT TakeOver Chicago, King of the Ring. Have a King of the Ring tournament. 8 men, spanning over one evening. The winner of that is the #1 contender for the NXT Championship at SummerSlam. Simple concept. Simple concept. Now, I'd love to see King of the Ring being brought back on a grander scale like the G1. That would be just me. You know? Make it a 32-man tournament. Make it a 16-man tournament, whatever. I'd like to see it back on pay-per-view, but I'd like to see it grow even bigger than that. I think it has the potential to get these current guys over. Tournaments get talent over because you get to see what they're made of. You get to fall in love with those guys. You know? Competitive competition in a tournament aspect, in a tournament environment, is great. That's why I fell in love with the Cruiserweight Classic. That's why I eventually fell in love with the Mae Young Classic towards the later end of that tournament. Good stuff. But I'd love to see NXT bring back the King of the Ring. I'd love that. I think it would fit perfect with what they got going on there. Fantastic idea. Very good question. We're going to do one more here, man. Jose Calderon. JC from TO. 3016. When will the Roman Empire crumble? If we all pray hard enough, long enough, every single night, maybe, just maybe, Roman will disappear and truly get off our televisions. I don't know. When will the Roman Empire crumble? If it hasn't crumbled yet, I don't think it will ever crumble. Because there have been instances where WWE has been made to look like a bunch of blithering idiots, pushing this guy and having no reaction to it, but the opposite of what they're expecting. And it's going to get even worse. This will be the worst ever in New Orleans. When will the Roman Empire crumble? I don't think it will ever crumble. If it hasn't crumbled in 4 years yet, I don't think it will ever crumble. We need to get used to Roman Reigns being the chosen one by WWE. Actually, you know what? Being that I see this question, we'll make this the last one. Kevin Jimenez. Kevin J203 on Twitter. What's your take on the 1994 Royal Rumble with The Undertaker versus Yokozuna match? Undertaker going up against 10 guys. I remember watching that, and I still watch that today, and I still get pissed. I still get pissed watching that shit. All I wanted was for The Undertaker to become WWE Champion. But he ended up taking a sabbatical and coming back that SummerSlam where they did the cheesy fucking investigation by Leslie Nielsen where Ted DiBiase thought he found The Undertaker, pawned off fucking Brian Lee as The Undertaker. Undertaker comes back, and that's your SummerSlam main event for that year. Garbage. Garbage. But I'll tell you what, man. No matter how pissed I get, nobody, as a younger fan, nobody realized that a casket match is no DQ. So now that I watch it back, though I was pissed off at a young age watching The Undertaker be buried by 10 fucking guys when all I wanted him to do was win the WWE Championship, and as a young kid, him fighting back, you thought he was going to fucking outnumber these guys. You thought he was going to win. But the older you got, and the more times you went back to that, you realized that there was no DQ, and how brilliant Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette were to have 10 hired guys do their bidding to bury this guy in a no DQ match and bury him in that double wide, double deep casket. It's brilliant. It played right into Jim Cornette's fucking sleaziness. It was great shit. Absolutely great shit. I still get pissed at it, but that's just a little kid in me. But I understand why it was done. I understand the ruling of the match. It calls for it. It was just great shit. I love that match, man. I love that Rumble. I thought that Rumble was great. I really thought that Rumble was a really good one. Ted DiBiase on commentary for that Rumble, man, had me laughing. He was great. Him laughing during that entire match with his classic laugh. He was the perfect heel commentator for that, man. Perfect heel commentator. But that was a very good question, man. Thank you for bringing that blast from the past back. But thank you guys so much, man. That is Off the Script. That is part 2. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be back on Sunday with part 3. Make sure you guys are tuned into the channel. Hopefully this stays monetized. YouTube, please. Please! Thank you guys so much, man. Get your t-shirts. Barbershop Window. I'm fucking knocking my microphone out over here. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys use that code Black Friday. Jinder Mahal, get off my TV.
The make-believe Maharaja.
Yeah, man. And that bench t-shirt right there. The Jinder and the Benched. Get it today, man, on barbershopwindow.com/offthescript, man. I'm JD. Have a great Saturday, and I'll see you guys Sunday for part 3 of Off the Script. I'll talk to you later.